Welcome to Stay Up Late with Kyle. An entire fridge comes out of his mouth. Hello everyone, my name is ASDF. Welcome back to another Indie Wednesday. Today we're going to be playing through Kyle is Famous, Complete Edition. Let's jump into it.
Kyle woke up. He is famous.
Okay.
Kyle is host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Kyle.
All right. If you've never heard of it, then you've been living under a rock. I've definitely heard of it. Yep.
Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed. Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man.
Beautiful. Thank you, Inside, for that insightful review.
Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields.
Good old Kyle. Good guy, Kyle.
Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details.
That's right. If you're not listening to Kyle's Stay Up Late with Kyle show, then you're going to be watching another show where all they're talking about is the Late Night Kyle show.
Most online videos are best of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast.
Just everything about Kyle is just famous. The entire internet's obsessed with him.
The eye of the world is upon Kyle.
The pop culture, the regular media, the everything, the memes.
Tonight
everything.
Is Kyle's most important guest interview yet.
The interviewing himself.
Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. She is a kind and lovely philanthropist.
I see.
She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation. Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview. Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely.
Okay, all right, here we go. This is gonna be fun. Let's get into it. All right, Kyle's first decision of the morning was made wisely. Either get out of bed or wither away. I like sitting in bed for another 5, 10 hour, 2 hours.
Kyle decided to stay put and wither away.
Oh no.
Kyle withered successfully and died.
He stayed in bed so long he died. It only took him an hour to wither away. Kyle's amazing. Kyle's an alien. Oh no.
Kyle is now a ghost. This does not relieve him of his responsibilities.
Oh no, we lost 2 hours because we withered away. Kyle exited his bed and took a quick glance around his bedroom. You know what? We gotta get dressed, right? It was dark and he could only really see his hanging shirts. Let's choose an outfit.
Kyle decided to take some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is.
We're a ghost, right? So let's do the Full Metal Alchemist route.
Kyle was unsure of what exactly caused him to decide to wear his armor, but it felt like the right thing to do.
It always feels like the
After
right
much
thing to
squeezing
do.
and sweating, Kyle managed to wrap the metal suit around his dumpy self.
Thanks for the dumpiness. Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. Okay, let's exit the bedroom to the hallway. Did that take 3 hours? Kyle walked into the small hallway that connected the rooms of his apartment together. Okay, we've withered away, which took an hour. We got out of bed, which took an hour, which means it's taken 7 hours to get dressed and get out into the hallway. Okay, the small hallway that connected the rooms of his apartment together. We don't need to check the locked door because it's our apartment. So why would we check the locked door? So why don't we eat a little breakfast? Let's open the fridge. Yes.
Kyle opened the fridge, intending to find something to eat.
Eat crust on fridge wall. Eat the fridge. Eat condiments or prepare breakfast. We're a ghost. Why don't we eat the whole fridge?
Kyle pointed his neck directly upwards and hoisted the fridge on top of his face.
Oh, no.
Somehow, miraculously, he wrapped his mouth around the device. He started to swallow. In one slow, horrible movement, the fridge slid down Kyle's throat.
That's so gross.
After many gurgles, pops, and snaps, Kyle felt relatively sure the fridge would not come back out.
Oh no, we ate bad food. We ate the entire fridge. Okay, let's return to the hallway. Kyle walked into the small hallway that connected the rooms of his apartment together, and let's leave the apartment. Kyle walked out into the middle of the road and took a long, pondering look around him. I guess we'll visit the downstairs neighbor.
Kyle approached his downstairs neighbor's door and knocked.
Just knock on the door.
A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door.
Hi, Gabby.
Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly.
Let's ask Gabby about Gabby. You know, everyone's talking about Rachel. Let's talk about Gabby.
Gabby, asked Kyle, tell me about yourself.
Imagine your neighbor being at your door. Like, you know him, right? Your neighbor just comes to your door and he's like, hello, tell me about yourself.
Gabby stiffened. Oh, you know, she said, putting on a fake smile. I just sit around here. Yes, I don't get around much. Never go out at night. I just stay here, right here. Gabby glared at Kyle.
She glared at him.
Convinced by Gabby's statement, Kyle bid her goodbye and returned to the street.
We have 4 hours left. Let's visit the tech store. Why not? Kyle walked into the clean white tech store. He was greeted by Techno Jim, an elaborate cutout mascot playing soft music from a small microphone. From a small speaker. Let's ask for free samples.
Kyle asked the store attendant whether or not they offered any free samples to important customers. The attendant gave Kyle a confused and slightly vacant look. Kyle began to beg for a free sample. Wanting Kyle to leave, the attendant grabbed a decrepit phone meant for spare parts and held it out.
Grab it with my teeth. The same teeth that just swallowed an entire fridge.
Kyle hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived.
Excuse me? Per normal? Does he normally wither away and cease to be a ghost before he arrives on the set?
Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled.
You know, I'm kind of worried about this bad food now.
Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded. And I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest. After other mild exchanges of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on.
That was techie. I mean, this is what I just did,
Good evening, everyone.
This is my day
Kyle,
up till
looking
now.
at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Kyle vomited all of the horrible things he had eaten earlier onto the floor.
Welcome to Stay Up Late with Kyle. An entire fridge comes out of his mouth.
Rachel looked at Kyle, concerned, gave a couple coughs, and decided to play it cool and keep the show running. Kyle stopped and vomited again, then continued with a shaky voice.
Poor Kyle. Poor Rachel.
I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here.
Rachel is just sticking with it.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss. So we might as well dive right in.
All right.
I'm very ready,
Kyle.
said Rachel with a winning smile.
Poor Kyle.
In a shock, Kyle realized he had never bothered to prepare any notes for the interview.
Oh, no.
Knowing he had the eyes of millions upon him, Kyle came up with a solution quickly.
Well, we tried to die earlier, so let's do it.
Kyle slumped in his seat and played dead. Kyle, what are you up to? Asked Rachel, still smiling. Kyle did not respond and hoped nobody would ask questions.
He's sticking with it.
Kyle, why are you pretending to be dead? Asked Rachel. I can see you breathing.
No, you can't.
Kyle held his breath.
He's in a suit of armor, by the way. There's no
producer
way.
Whispered to Rachel over her earpiece. Give a couple slaps across the face and see if he wakes up. Rachel got up from her chair, walked to Kyle, and slapped him firmly across the face.
She just slapped a suit of armor across the face.
Rachel slapped Kyle continuously, trying to get him to stop play acting. Other members of the crew stepped into frame to start slapping Kyle as well.
Everyone's slapping Kyle.
Soon, Kyle was lost in the amassment of people around him, all slapping his face with both hands.
People have formed this line where they just run in a circle and hold their hands out and slap his face with both hands as they pass by.
The slapping went on for many hours. Kyle did not wake up. Eventually, Kyle did not need to pretend to be unconscious.
All right. Kyle prepared by dying. Wait, we still have the broken phone. We've unlocked more things. But let's see what's going on social
Kyle
media.
started to scroll through news articles on his phone. Stay Up Late with Kyle ranked #1 and #2 show on television.
That's right. #1 and #2.
New East Bridge being constructed after being found to not actually exist. Authorities investigating. Another grand larceny and crime spree streak. Evidence points to perpetrator fleeing the country. Rachel May to unexpectedly leave the country on very, very long vacation after interview tonight.
It's kind of sus there, Rachel May.
Who is the bug vigilante recently spotted pursuing larcenists?
The bug vigilante is chasing the
Kyle
larcenist.
fails to show up to several charity events.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Bug vigilante shows up to charity events with fresh baked pastries. Donations flourish.
Oh, the bug vigilante is like my nemesis. Maybe I'm the one doing the larceny.
Resurgence as fuel source
No one ever
for both
talks about
humans
that.
and tugboats.
Oh,
Phone model recalled. Techno gym stores blame overuse by customers.
okay. Well,
Kyle's phone exploded in his hands from overuse.
Oh, well, it was a broken phone, so let's get out of bed. All right, well, we should open the closet and get dressed. We should choose an outfit. Let's do the slick suit.
Kyle miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit. The chest pockets were filled with random knickknacks.
Noted. Okay. Then, you know what? Let's scavenge and see what's in our
Kyle
bedroom.
quickly crouched down on the floor, realizing his immediate need for...
Gossip. We're going to do some research.
Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below.
Not exactly the research I was thinking of.
I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon.
This is what we were looking for.
Girlfriend, tell me more. Well, what I will tell
this Gabby?
you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers.
The bug vigilante is my downstairs neighbor?
There was a stunned silence. Then a door opened and someone exited the neighbor's apartment.
One of Gabby's friends? Let's visit Gabby now. See if we can talk about the bug vigilante.
Kyle approached his downstairs neighbor's door and knocked. A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door.
Hi, Gabby.
Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly. Gabby, asked Kyle.
That's so blunt.
Are you the bug vigilante? For a moment, Gabby looked stunned, but then she realized his seriousness. Gabby nodded once.
We're out of time.
The door shut
Oh
in Kyle's
no,
face.
we're going to have to do that tomorrow. Well, today again.
Kyle hurried to the set.
Okay, well, we've got a suit and some gossip now.
Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity.
An air
As
of
Kyle approached her,
genuinity.
Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here.
Nice to see you, Rachel.
Kyle responded.
Let's scream and spin in circles.
Kyle stretched his arms wide,
Like
tilted
an airplane.
his neck upwards, and was interrupted by his producer telling him and Rachel that it was time to start the show.
There it is. There it is. Let's insist on scream.
Kyle shoved his producer out of the way, spread his arms wide, and began to scream loudly. He began to rotate slowly, screaming throughout, lightly brushing his hands against the faces of Rachel and his producer.
Just lightly caressing their faces as he screams and spins
After
in a
several
circle like an
minutes,
airplane.
Kyle was finished. He slowly put his hands to his sides and smiled. I'm ready, said Kyle.
Ready.
Rachel blinked at Kyle, shrugged, and walked over to her seat.
Nothing phases Rachel.
A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on.
Let's not expose our neighbor as the bug vigilante. Let's start the broadcast.
Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle.
Especially since we did not eat the bad food. So now we won't
Tonight,
vomit
I
all
have
over
the
the
pleasure
set.
of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said.
Hello,
I'm
Kyle.
glad to be here.
Hello, Kyle.
In response, Kyle collapsed on the floor.
Why did I collapse on the floor?
From a combination of stressful preparation and not eating anything, Kyle had passed out.
All right.
Nobody in the studio quite knew what to do with him. They began to poke Kyle in the back to see if he moved. After a while, they ended the broadcast, shut off the lights, and went home.
And then Rachel May left the country for a very, very long time.
Kyle was left face first on the floor.
Okay, so let's reset. Let's exit the bed. Let's sit at the desk. Oh, here's where we write notes for the interview. So let's do that.
Kyle wrote down his first question.
Am I a mother? Is your mother a mother? Or are you a mother?
Kyle wrote down his second question.
Ever eaten a raw egg whole?
Kyle wrote down his third question.
Because I had a half a dozen eggs in my fridge. His third question is, I purposefully ran over a puppy. Oh no.
Kyle wrote down his last question.
Do you feel guilty that I ran
Kyle
over a
ripped his
puppy on
page of
purpose?
notes out of the notebook and got up from the desk.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's check in the drawer. Grabbed one of the items, a small key.
Kyle grabbed the small key he kept in his desk.
And then let's check the exit the bedroom. We haven't put on any clothes yet. It's fine. We're in our PJs. Let's check the
Kyle
locked
walked
door.
over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
My key doesn't help with the door. Well, let's force it open.
Kyle decided it would be best to try to force the door open with use of his face.
With the use of its
After
face.
smashing his features
I have
into solid
amnesia.
wood for several minutes, Kyle gained severe short-term amnesia.
Oh no. Okay. Let's eat something so we don't pass out. Let's check the pantry.
Kyle wanted to access the pantry, but found it was locked with a small keyhole. The pantry door lock creaked as if it hadn't moved for years, but eventually opened. Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard.
Okay, let's just grab a bottle
Kyle
of
grabbed
lard.
a bottle of lard and stashed it on his person for later use.
Good man. Good man. Okay, let's open the fridge.
Kyle opened the fridge, intending to find something to eat.
Let's prepare breakfast.
Kyle constructed a breakfast of poached eggs and toast, along with a small fruit cup and grilled sausage.
That is a massively healthy breakfast. For someone that just has
Kyle
lard
ate
in his
breakfast
pantry.
slowly and thoughtfully, enjoying every bite.
Okay. We'll return to the kitchen. Let's return to the hallway. We've checked the pantry and we've checked the fridge now. So we can leave the apartment. And we can return to the apartment. And return to the bedroom.
Kyle hurried to the set. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity.
Okay, we've done this.
As Kyle approached her, Rachel's smile quickly turned to shock as she realized Kyle had not put on clothes that day.
It's not harassment, because it's not directed at Rachel. Oh, no.
Kyle waved and smiled broadly. Rachel uncomfortably averted her eyes. Kyle started making his rounds around the room, greeting each crew member, none of whom looked at him directly.
I'm saying hello to everybody while not wearing clothes.
As it became apparent that Kyle had no intention of leaving, Rachel made some excuses and exited the set.
No, Rachel, I prepared questions.
One by one, the crew followed suit.
Oh.
Kyle was left all alone.
Oh, man. Have we tried to scavenge the room? We haven't looked for bugs
Kyle
yet.
quickly crouched down on the floor, realizing his immediate need for... Kyle
Gossip.
firmly...
Okay, so this is the bug vigilante. So let's go straight down and talk to Gabby.
Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully.
Remember,
Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly.
I haven't put clothes on yet. Imagine Gabby talking about being the bug vigilante, and then her upstairs neighbor who is not wearing anything comes down and very seriously says, Gabby, are you the bug vigilante? And then just stares at her, just right dead in the eyes.
For a moment, Gabby looked stunned, but then she realized his seriousness. Gabby nodded once. The door shut in Kyle's face.
Okay, so we did finish that with the perfect amount of stuff. Okay, let's go to the tech store and give a review of the free sample. Okay.
This phone, said Kyle, is several years old and has exposed wires coming out of the back.
This is like every social media influencer.
Kyle continued. Also, the screen has had issues ever since I used it to hammer nails into the wall.
Ah, yes, that's why it's broken.
Furthermore, when I submerge it in water, I get severely shocked until it runs out of battery. The attendant looked at Kyle, pursed his lips, and said nothing.
He just...
Feeling he had made his argument, Kyle decided to leave.
Okay. We better put some clothes on. Why don't we just put on the skunk?
Kyle chose the pasties
Oh,
made
no.
of mashed skunk flesh.
I thought they were going to be pasties that look like little skunks, not made of mashed skunks.
Getting the slimy garments to stay proved difficult, so Kyle opted to stick them to his body with hot glue.
Good job, Kyle. Let's just out Gabby to the world.
Good evening, everybody, said Kyle. My neighbor is a bug vigilante.
Dude.
With nothing more to say on the matter, he fell silent.
Oh no!
Rachel, also on camera, stared at her hands and wondered when she was going to be introduced.
Before I introduced her, my neighbor's a bug
started
vigilante.
Cutting to different camera angles to break the tension. Kyle continued to remain silent and stare forward blankly. After several minutes, neighbor Gabby walked out onto set.
Oh no, Gabby's here.
Hi everyone, she said, smiling hollowly. My name is Gabby, and I'm not a bug vigilante. False. Kyle looked at Gabby and then returned to staring forwards.
False.
Gabby began to reply, but was interrupted by a bug-shaped intercom on her belt.
Nice, Gabby. You don't wear the belt if you're...
Girl, it squawked. A robbery's in progress on East 3rd. Report immediate. Gabby threw the intercom on the ground and crushed it under her foot. After a beat, she spoke tightly. Something has come up suddenly and I must go.
Gabby.
Gabby left the set.
Gabby, we wouldn't have known who you were.
Said Kyle. That's all the time we have for tonight.
I'm in an
Thanks
apartment.
for joining us, Rachel.
I have many neighbors.
Kyle got up, shook Rachel's hand again, and walked past the cameras, leaving her alone.
That was the whole show.
Not knowing what else to do, the producer ended the broadcast.
Poor Rachel.
In the coming days, fans of both Rachel and Kyle dubbed this show as a masterpiece of television.
It was a masterpiece of television.
Stay Up Late with Kyle's online pages were updated to reflect this broadcast as the most popular ever.
Ever.
Kyle's producer later tried to have Rachel on the show again, but she was very, very, very busy.
It was the best show we've ever done, Rachel. Okay, Kyle talked about Gabby. Let's scavenge
Kyle
for
quickly crouched
bugs.
down on the floor, realizing his immediate need for... Kyle started to pick between the fuzz of his bedroom carpet, hoping to catch a stray beetle or two.
Just picking the fuzz in the carpet.
Soon, he had a small handful of various insects, dead and alive.
Let's save them.
Kyle stashed the wriggling mass for later use.
Okay, I have a ball of bugs. That is so gross. Let's write notes. And then we need to open the closet and choose an outfit. Jeans and swimming goggles.
Kyle decided on a fashion-forward, casual style. He could barely see out of the goggles.
Prepare breakfast.
Kyle constructed a breakfast of poached eggs and toast, along with a small fruit cup and grilled sausage.
It's such a healthy breakfast. I would love to eat that breakfast.
Kyle ate his breakfast slowly and thoughtfully, enjoying every bite.
Good evening,
Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the... Kyle responded.
Well, we had the scream. We got to scream and spin
Kyle
in circles.
stretched his arms wide, tilted his neck upwards, and... was interrupted by his producer telling him and Rachel that it was time to start the show.
We'll start the show.
Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said.
Hello,
I'm glad
Kyle.
to be here.
She always says it with such gusto. Good evening, Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in.
Oh, I have notes this time.
I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. Rachel, I and many others would love to know, are you a mother? Kyle looked up from his notes. Well, being a single woman with a career, she answered, that's not something that has crossed my mind.
That wasn't a very clear answer
Rachel
there,
smiled
Rachel.
genuinely at Kyle.
I asked if you were a mother, not if it crossed your mind.
Very reasonable indeed, said Kyle. He referenced his paper of questions. Kyle asked another question.
Ever eaten a raw
Hey,
egg?
Rachel, ever eaten a raw egg whole? Asked Kyle. Like shell and all?
Yep,
Asked Rachel.
Not even chewing, just swallow it whole.
Kyle continued. I like a lot. It's really bad though, so sometimes I spit it back up.
Oh no.
There was a silence. It actually gets easier the more you do it, continued Kyle without losing momentum. So don't start, I say. Rachel chose not to answer and looked in another direction.
What kind of a weird question?
Kyle asked another question.
My favorite way to eat eggs.
Hey, I ran over a puppy on purpose, said Kyle.
Oh, this is such a bad interview.
Everyone in the studio froze.
This is the studio.
Kyle spread his hands out wide. It's a joke!
He's laughing so hard.
Several minutes later, he stopped laughing and moved on.
For minutes, he just laughed.
Kyle asked another question.
How is this man so famous?
Are you guilty? Kyle threw his questions on the floor, stood up, and pointed at her.
Is it you? Is it you? I know it.
Rachel's eye twitched slightly. Guilty of what, dear Kyle? She smiled disingenuously.
She's the thief.
Guilty, spat Kyle. Of your crimes. Rachel did not answer. Her eyelids both started twitching uncontrollably. Kyle whipped out his phone and started dialing the police.
On the set.
Kyle quickly realized that the broken phone he had gotten for free was not able to call anyone.
I need to get my phone fixed.
Kyle looked sadly at his hand, realizing he had botched a wonderful opportunity. Rachel looked at Kyle smiling. Her eyebrows twitched a bit. What's the problem, Kyle? Anything I can help you with? She glared, still smiling. Kyle looked up from his hand sadly. He slowly shook his head. The interview continued on. Rachel answered questions cheerily.
Okay.
Kyle forced a smile through the entire episode, but he felt very sad inside.
Poor Kyle.
Kyle had missed his chance to be helpful.
So I need a working phone. That's what I need. Wasn't helpful. Unlocked a new cursor. Okay. Maybe if we wither away, we can, instead of bashing our head into the door, we can float through it. Let's try that.
Kyle decided to stay put and wither. Kyle is now a ghost.
Check the locked door.
Kyle walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
Float through as ghost.
Kyle used his ghostly powers to walk straight through the door.
He stashed the various items sent to him by fans. Check the sewing machine.
Kyle walked over to the dilapidated sewing machine. Its box was only half removed.
That was it? Okay. There's gotta be more than that. Let's see what happens if we eat the lard. Check the pantry.
Kyle wanted to access the pantry, but found the pantry door lock creaked as if it hadn't moved for years, but eventually opened. Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard.
Okay, let's chug the lard.
Kyle voraciously grabbed the closest bottle, snapped the neck against the wall, and sucked out all of the fat
a really delayed wow. Oh, let's do it again.
Kyle wildly sucked down another bottle. He felt very sick.
Chug it
Kyle's
again.
Vomit and the lard were mixing in a way to make it hard to tell which was which.
Oh, gross.
As Kyle finished the last bottle of lard, he felt a wave of accomplishment come over him.
That is so gross. You wanted to throw up just listening to that?
In a shock,
I had no
Kyle
notes.
realized
Let's just run away.
Kyle ejected from his seat and ran out of the studio as quickly as possible.
No one stopped me.
After it became apparent that Kyle was not coming back, the producer ended the episode and everyone went home. How prepared by running away? Let's just leave the apartment and go to the tech store. We've yet to steal Techno Jim. Quickly, before the attendant could acknowledge him, Kyle grabbed Techno Jim by the shoulders.
Solid.
Finding that Techno Jim's cardboard feet were bolted to the ground, Kyle started to heave upwards. After several tugs, Techno Jim broke free, leaving one foot and one leg behind. Kyle glanced at the attendant, who was staring, bewildered, and ran outside.
I just looked at the attendant and he's just like, what do we do? We gotta eat before the interview. Prepare breakfast. Smash it. We didn't eat. We're gonna pass out. Good evening, Kyle.
Good evening, Kyle, she said.
Interview Techno Jim instead.
I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle roughly shoved Rachel out of her seat and placed
grabs her by the face,
Jim in her stead.
Moves her to the side. Get out of my way, Rachel.
Hello, Techno Jim, said Kyle. I'm going to interview you today.
Amazing.
Kyle grasped Techno Jim's hand and tried to shake it, but instead tore it off the cardboard frame.
I don't know what this game is,
Kyle's
Helmet.
producer, sensing
I have
viral
no
media,
idea.
pulled the bewildered Rachel out of frame and motioned the crew to go live. Cameramen moved.
I think I'm gonna pass out, though. I need to
Suddenly, the
eat.
studio was on air. Hi, I'm Kyle, said Kyle, and tonight I'm going to interview a very special guest. He pointed at Techno Jim using the dismembered arm.
I'm pointing at
Techno
Jim.
Jim started to smoke from the heat
Oh
of the lights.
no!
Would you like to introduce yourself?
He's gonna
asked
burst
Kyle.
into flames.
Knowing Jim would probably not speak, Kyle took it upon himself to be his voice as well. Hi, Kyle, he said, raising
Oh,
the pitch of his
no.
voice. My name is Rachel May, and I'm a very special guest.
No.
Rachel's expression of confusion turned to shock. Well, Rachel, you look way too thin and absolutely terrible, and you should feel ugly. Kyle gave Jim a meaningful stare.
And you should feel ugly.
Wow, Kyle, he said. I sure wish I could look like you. Techno Jim burst into
He
flames.
burst into flames.
Instantaneously, the sprinkler system initiated. Curtains of water poured down from the rafters.
Oh no, there's water on the screen.
Within seconds, the production equipment was doused in water. The set was soon aburst with electrical fires.
No.
Kyle's crew abandoned their posts as cameramen and sound mixers to try to put the fires out. As the crew scrambled around, the cameras continued to run. Kyle sat, motionless, staring forward. Eventually, the fires were all put out. Kyle's producer shut off the broadcast,
man.
leaving Kyle's vacant stare as the final frame.
He's just.
Kyle's ratings skyrocketed.
Well, we know how to put
Techno
on a
Jim
good
became
show.
a staple on the show, often ending up destroyed by the end of each episode.
Techno Jim.
Although Rachel did not come back on the show, her cardboard portrayal did. Rachel was very popular.
Rachel. 10 of 10. Would watch again. Oh my goodness. Interviewed Rachel. We'll sit at the desk. We will check the desk drawer. Grab some assorted change.
Kyle?
To the tech store. Buy batteries with change. What are the batteries for, though?
Kyle counted out $1.98
Oh,
in
man.
pennies and nickels and traded them for a small packet of batteries.
Pennies and nickels. Okay.
Rachel, am I a mother? Kyle looked at her very seriously.
My mother.
Rachel was visibly unsure of how to respond.
She's just uncomfortable. This is the weirdest version of Groundhog Day ever.
Well, Kyle, I think you might be a better source of answering that question than I am.
Nope, you're the only one that can answer this question, Rachel.
But do you think I'm a mother? Asked Kyle, pushing further. Rachel paused for a second before answering. I think you inspire youth
I hope
to
I can keep
pursue
pushing it.
STEM fields. Kyle asked another question.
Let's do the guilty thing now.
Rachel, do you feel guilty? Asked Kyle, hitting her with a hard question.
That's right.
Rachel raised her eyebrows. About what specifically, Kyle? Things. Things in general. Life. Rachel did not answer immediately.
He's kind of sus.
I think, she said, that everyone has things they regret, but those things aren't always what others would expect.
Is it the grand larceny spree that you're on, Rachel?
Rachel folded her hands in her lap and didn't have anything more to say. Kyle asked another question. Do you ever smile? Spat Kyle.
Oh.
Like, seriously.
Oh no.
Rachel stopped smiling.
she was smiling when he asked the question, and then she
You're
stopped.
gonna be on the show. You need to smile, okay? Said Kyle, not smiling.
Okay.
You're here to get views, and you'll get more views if you smile. Here, I'll show you how. Kyle turned to the camera and gave the audience a huge, teeth-clenched, bug-eyed grimace.
This is it. This is how you smile, Rachel.
Rachel nodded and obviously wanted to move on. Kyle asked another question.
Oh, Rachel.
A burning question from the fans, said Kyle. Beef, do you prefer it mashed or blended?
Mashed or blended?
Rachel answered promptly. Mashed. And no more was said on that matter.
One word answer, really? Really, Rachel? Come on now.
After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper. Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you. Kyle returned home knowing the interview had gone well.
Dude, I did a good interview.
But as he lay in bed and drifted to sleep, he felt that perhaps
something was missing.
Something was still missing?
The end? Unlocked more world options. Let's get dressed. Oh, there's a rusty locker now. We'll look at the rusty locker.
Kyle knelt down and inspected the old rusty container that had been in his closet for ages. It was locked, but had a blade-shaped slot in the top.
Okay. Blade-shaped slot. We
Kyle
can
quickly crouched
scavenge
down on the floor,
for
realizing
resources.
his immediate need for...
You require more resources.
Kyle began to comb through the damp piles of filth and mold on his floor in search of helpful items.
Oh, Kyle, no.
After finding and eating a few bits of crumbs and old cheese, Kyle found something much more important.
Kyle, no.
Indeed, it was the corpse of Harry, the friend that had gone missing years ago while
Yes,
at
the
Kyle's
corpse of
house.
Harry in his bedroom on the floor.
Kyle was glad to see him again, but was unsure of whether to interrupt such an important day with Harry business.
Oh, no.
Kyle hoisted Harry onto his shoulder and took him outside.
Oh, don't you hate it when you find your best friend dead in your apartment, your bedroom floor,
Kyle
and all
began
the
dragging Harry's
gross,
body down the
damp,
street,
moldy
drawing many,
filth.
many stairs. Kyle knew exactly where he needed to take Harry's corpse, on a lovely playdate, just the two of them.
Kyle, no.
Kyle and Harry started at the arcade. Kyle used Harry's arms
just
to
the
operate
worst.
the joysticks and push buttons.
This is
After
like
5 or
that
6
weird
different games,
movie.
The two friends had enough tickets for a single
No,
candy bar.
Kyle, no.
They took their prize to the local park for eating.
Oh, no.
Kyle tried to feed some of the chocolate bar to Harry, but Harry seemed to not have an appetite.
Kyle, no.
After eating, Kyle noticed a nearby playground. He dragged Harry over.
Oh, no.
Kyle tried to figure out a
Warlord
way to
leads
swing
nerd.
Harry onto the swing set, but lacking the ability to grip, Harry kept falling out.
This is so twisted and
Instead,
dark.
Kyle started to lug Harry to the top of the slide and shove him down time and time again.
Harry's gonna fall apart.
Finally, Kyle took Harry to the movies to see as many popular
But we didn't
films
get
as their
that pocket
pocket
change.
change allowed.
We didn't get the pocket
Kyle
change.
quickly found that he had no pocket change, so
Oh.
he searched through Harry's pockets until he found his wallet.
Ah.
Kyle bought 2 tickets to A Love Romance. After getting inside, Kyle left Harry to go find a restroom.
I left Harry? I just
By
left
the time
him?
Kyle had finished using the restroom, he had
I
forgotten
think-
that he brought Harry along.
I think he's well past rigor mortis.
Kyle watched A Love Romance by himself. Harry's corpse sat on a bench
Oh,
in the atrium.
no.
While Kyle was in the movie, a beautiful thing happened.
What happened?
Harry's corpse, imbued with the power of
Oh,
friendship and
no.
love, was reanimated.
We have zombie Harry, probably because of the mold.
Harry's old, rotten flesh gained color and life. His
What?
fingernails regrew. His missing eye came back.
Oh, boy.
By the time the movie was over, Harry was able to greet Kyle with a large, friendly hug as his old self.
I think I inhaled a bunch of the mold
Kyle
on
was
accident.
confused, but delighted to have his
What?
long-lost friend meet him on his way out of the theater.
Oh, my goodness.
The two made plans to get drinks together and parted ways for the day.
I just reanimated
Kyle
Harry.
returned home, forgetting about the interview with Rachel.
Well, that I helped a friend. We'll check in the desk drawer. We have a flashlight and CDs. Let's take the
Kyle grabbed
flashlight.
flashlight, but after
We need to check in the desk drawer for the batteries, or for the small change, so that we can
Kyle's-
buy batteries across the street. Buy batteries with change. Insert into the
Kyle
flashlight.
crammed the batteries into his flashlight.
Okay, we can return to the bedroom because it said the closet was dark. Open the closet, inspect with the flashlight.
Kyle shined his flashlight into his moist, cave-like closet that had not seen light in years.
Moist.
After several minutes of searching around with the light, Kyle saw something unusual in the back.
Uh-oh. Is it another
There was a
dead
pile
body?
of strange items, including a small metal box with a large red button stamped with travel time.
Do we travel time? I think we do. Travel time.
Kyle, bored of the situation, mashed the button, hardly reading the label above. The box hummed and shook. The outside metal grew hot and slowly curved in on itself. In a moment, it was early in the morning. Kyle had gained several hours of preparation time.
I had gained several hours. Oh, Oh. We just reset it. Okay. It took us 25 hours to get that far, but that might have been worth it. Okay, let's sit at the desk, check in the drawer for CDs. Kyle began shuffling through the dusty CD pile that held all his favorite music. Many of the CDs were unlabeled or broken. Let's take carnival music. Carnival time.
Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction.
Become Rachel May or produce a CD. Let's produce a CD.
As Rachel started to reply, Kyle clamped his hand over her mouth.
Shh. Music.
Hush, he said. I need to do something before we can continue. Kyle removed the CD he had brought to the interview and placed it in a nearby player deck. The sound system kicked into action, piping Kyle's music throughout the studio.
What is even happening?
Rachel briefly listened, a blank expression on her face. Smiling, Kyle closed his eyes and enjoyed the music for a moment. Then, he spoke. All right, now everything's ready. Let's begin. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier.
What's your guilty pleasure?
We all have one. What's your guilty pleasure? I'm sorry, Kyle, said Rachel. What on earth is this music?
What's an ad? There you go. Warlord's flexing his sub status. Kronos needs a sub.
It's an old favorite, Rachel, said Kyle. This is what I grew up on. It's part of my most special collection. Kyle and Rachel sat silently, the music playing in the background. Rachel began to frown.
We'll play around this. Whoa,
Suddenly,
okay.
the wall next to Kyle exploded.
Excuse me?
Through the hole stepped several men in dazzling, flamboyant costumes of bright color.
They
held guitars, pianos, and other instruments. Kyle, said the man in front, we are the band of your childhood.
What is happening?
Kyle's jaw dropped, smiling. He put his hands to his cheeks. His eyes sparkled.
Oh my goodness, Helmet gifting a sub to Kronos. Thank you so much. Dude, Helmet coming through.
We have come to issue a grievance.
No more ads for a whole month.
TV without a license.
Oh no. This is worse than DMCA. They came through the wall.
The man took his guitar in both hands and began slamming Kyle's face repeatedly.
I'm wearing my suit of armor though.
After several hours, the grievance had been sufficiently repaid. The band left through the hole they had created in the wall. Kyle lay on the floor, thinking about what had happened.
Oh boy. DMCA is basically the Kool-Aid man, that's right.
Rachel slowly slid to his side. Are you feeling okay, Kyle? She asked. She had a concerned expression on her face. Have you ever met your childhood idol, Rachel?
This is his childhood idol. Just beat him into the floor with a guitar.
Remember? I can't say I have. Kyle raised both fists into the air. It feels amazing!
It's amazing! Yes!
Kyle spent the rest of Rachel's interview chatting happily about meeting his lifelong favorite band. Rachel listened and asked questions politely, seeming unfazed that her moment on TV had been uprooted.
Goodness.
Eventually, the studio was out of time and the broadcast shut off. Kyle and Rachel walked out of the studio together. Kyle was grinning widely.
Good for you, Kyle.
The two said their goodbyes and walked off in separate directions.
Good for you, Kyle.
As Kyle walked home, he felt like the interview had been everything he had hoped it to be. Kyle had gotten everything he had ever wanted as a child.
You've never had Kool-Aid? Oh, I unlocked a new background. So that was music. Let's become Rachel May.
However, said Kyle, suddenly dropping his voice, Rachel May is not sitting next to me. She is not new to this show. She did not walk in before me.
What are you doing?
Said Kyle. I am Rachel May.
Dun, dun, dun.
Rachel looked at Kyle, confused, and silently mouthed the words, "You are who?" Kyle stood up quickly and threw his arm high above him, pointing upwards. I have never been, Kyle, he proclaimed. I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Kyle.
This
Kyle
whole time, I have been Rachel May.
I'm here for but one reason, to interview myself.
He's pointing directly at the camera.
Kyle sat
I
down
love the
in his
voice
chair
acting.
and
It's
went
so
to
good.
produce the notes he had taken earlier. Kyle read the first question on his list. Are you a mother? I'm glad you asked, said Kyle. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Or, yes, you are, said Kyle, trying to figure out who was talking to whom. Or, I am... In a fit, Kyle continued to re-answer his question, trying to come up with the correct phrasing. Rachel spoke up. Kyle, I'm not a mother at all, so it doesn't really matter. Lies! Impossible! I don't believe it! Kyle banged his fist on the chair.
He's
Kyle,
so
I've never
angry.
been in a position for that. I've really just focused on my career. All you need to do is ask. Rachel smiled. Kyle was silent for a moment. Then, realizing he had no idea what he was doing, he decided to let Rachel talk. So, what about your career? Do you enjoy what you do? How'd you get into it? The two continued talking for the better part of an hour, Kyle asking questions and Rachel answering accordingly. Eventually, Kyle's producer signaled to Kyle that it was time to stop.
5 minutes left, Kyle.
The broadcast ended. The crew, Rachel and Kyle, said their goodbyes and returned home.
What
But
even
Kyle
just
continued to think about Rachel after the interview ended.
What even happened?
Something about Rachel had struck Kyle. He wasn't exactly sure what,
It's that she is me.
but he did know
Or I
that he
is
was
her.
interested to hear that she was single.
Oh, Kyle noticed Rachel. Okay. What do? We leave the apartment. We can visit the downstairs
Kyle
neighbor.
approached his A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door.
Consume Gabby?
Kyle unhinged his jaw and swallowed Gabby whole.
You unhinged your jaw like a snake.
Job done, Kyle returned to the middle of the street.
Excuse me, what?
A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened.
Oh,
and
we
the
can
cameras
gossip
clicked
about
on.
Gabby with Gabby in my stomach. And that means Gabby...
Good evening, everybody, said Kyle.
won't
My
show
neighbor is a bug vigilante. After several minutes, Kyle's stomach
Oh,
began
here
to
we
bubble
go.
and pop.
Okay.
Suddenly, his neck shot straight upwards. Sprouting from his mouth was an outstretched
You're
hand.
right. Gabby is gonna jump out of my stomach.
Gabby climbed out of Kyle's mouth and walked to the center of the set. Hi, everyone, she said, smiling hollowly. My name is Gabby, and I'm not a bug vigilante.
Okay, it's still the same though. It's just talked about Gabby. Start broadcast, introduce Rachel,
Tonight,
and
I
then
have the
become
pleasure of
her.
interview- However, said Kyle,
Rachel
suddenly dropping his
Rachel
voice.
Ray is not sitting
Rachel-
next to me.
In
I
fact, said Kyle,
I love this voice acting.
I am Rachel May. Rachel looked at Kyle, confused, and silently mouthed the words. Kyle stood up quickly and threw his arm high. I have never been, Kyle, he proclaimed. I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Kyle. Kyle looked and pointed directly at the... Kyle sat
Now I'm
down.
gonna answer my
Kyle
question.
read the first question on his list. Is your mother a mother? Kyle replied, no, because I am my mother.
And I was
Continued Kyle,
a
I
young
am your
boy.
mother and everyone's mother and also Rachel and Kyle and... I'm also your children and that woman you met in the coffee shop yesterday and your high school best friend. And I'm your friends and I'm that person next to you and I'm also you. Kyle waved his arms around and smiled. Nobody seemed to understand.
Nobody understood.
It's a magic trick! Shouted Kyle happily. I'm everyone now! Kyle got up and happily danced out of the studio, arms spread wide.
What is happening?
Although not taken seriously at first, sociologists quickly found that Kyle's claims were true.
They were true. He is everyone.
Somehow, magically, Kyle became everyone and nobody else technically
What?
existed anymore.
My face hurts
After a
from smiling
massive
too
amount
much.
of study, it was found that Kyle had stumbled upon a very unexpected sociological loophole. Nobody really knew what to do with this newfound discovery, so they decided to do nothing.
Do nothing.
Kyle continued to be theoretically everyone, and everybody else continued to be theoretically non-existent. It was a strange time to be alive.
That's right. None of us exist. Only Kyle. What if we get the the time travel box, but instead of using it immediately, what if we save it for later?
Kyle returned home knowing the interview
Then
had gone well.
We might be able to do like a double interview.
But as he lay...
It went very well. Okay, let's reset. Let's try it. Closet. Flashlight.
Kyle shot. There was a pot.
Take it for later.
Kyle
Oh, we're naked though.
Sitting as Kyle approached. Kyle.
Okay.
As it became a...
Everyone's exiting the set. Kyle was left all alone. Okay, so we need to put clothes on. Choose an outfit, suit of
Kyle
armor.
decided there was a pile of...
Take the box for later. Okay.
A moment after seating,
time
the studio
travel
lights
with
brightened and
Rachel.
the cameras clicked on.
Time travel with Rachel.
Good evening, everyone, said Kyle. Tonight, Rachel and I will time travel together. In one motion, Kyle grabbed Rachel's arm and pressed the red button on the time machine with his elbow.
Dude.
Kyle and Rachel were sent back to a time before human existence on Earth.
Okay, that was way longer than the last
They were
time.
standing next to a large lake. There was a forest behind them full of singing birds. Lizards were everywhere. Kyle, dear, said Rachel, stern but not angry. You can't just do things like that.
Kyle, we've talked about this
Rachel
before.
began digging in the dirt, looking for small, smooth stones. I'm sorry, Rachel, said Kyle. I got a bit ahead of myself.
Why are they
Kyle
looking for
began helping
stones?
to look for stones. Well, it's okay, Kyle. I forgive you. Rachel took Kyle's stones and started to build a small stack on the ground.
What?
Kyle silently began sifting through the sand near the lake to find pure mud.
Pure mud.
Well, since we're here together, said Rachel, using nearby sticks to build a pyramid around the rocks. How are... Oh, I'm fine, said Kyle, sticking pieces of shale together with the mud. I've been preparing for your interview all day.
What in the world?
Rachel began to bundle nearby foliage into small power cells.
What?
Do you love being famous? She asked. Kyle used the bones from the dead fish ashore to start crafting some energy capacitors.
Did you guys know that energy capacitors are just fancy words for fish bones?
That's an interesting question, Rachel.
Today I learned.
He answered, there's ups and downs. How about yourself? I think I'd love to be unknown with a loving family, said Rachel. Being so recognizable gets very lonely. Rachel started grabbing live birds as they flew by to make a nuclear reactor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I understand that.
More like a
incredibly
bioreactor.
well,
He's
said
using
Kyle,
magic.
extracting pure hydrogen from the lake using a reed siphon.
A reed siphon. He just picked a reed and he was like, look at that hydrogen.
There was a warm, understanding silence between them. After a few minutes, Kyle broke the silence. Can you pass me the arc welder when you're done? I need to weld these bioreactive plates together.
I told you it was bioreactor, not nuclear reactor.
Soon, the pair had constructed a janky but workable return time machine.
All right.
As they
Solid.
climbed in, Rachel and Kyle looked at each other. Both knew they had bonded.
The fish reactor again. Yeah, they're really speeding up human advancement.
With the flick of a switch, the whir of an engine made out of beaver pelts, and some pops, the duo returned home. Later that evening, back at his apartment, Kyle thought about the time he had spent with Rachel. He was glad they had gotten the chance to take a trip together.
Oh, man. Took a trip. Okay, let's reset the interview. Let's see what pops up on this side.
Kyle responded.
Okay.
And I...
Shake hands, more.
A moment.
Start the broadcast, introduce Rachel, become Rachel.
She...
Get the Leviathan ending.
It was then. Real? Firstly. No! Kyle slammed his fist down repeatedly. Then he stopped talking. A thick, uncomfortable silence hung over the studio.
This is a new one.
The silence did not end. The cameras continued to roll. Eventually, Rachel got out of her chair and walked off screen. One by one, eventually Kyle was... This episode of Stay Up Late with Kyle became the longest... Kyle continued to sit in front of the camera all night and into the morning, wishing it would end.
We found one on accident.
As evening fell again, the crew shuffled back in one by one, getting in places to film that day's episode. Kyle continued to sit motionless, cameras rolling, as the crew chatted about their days and got in position. Eventually, the crew officially started the next episode. Kyle was prompted to introduce himself again. Kyle had produced an incredibly artistic episode.
Okay. Interesting. What if we look at things as a
Kyle
ghost?
decided to stay put.
Let's check the locked door again.
Kyle.
Okay. We have a laser claymore, and we have a supernatural artifact now in this room.
This was one of the many mysterious artifacts Kyle had been sent over the years.
All right, we gotta smash it.
Kyle began pounding the mysterious artifact with both fists.
That's right.
Within a few hours, it had become dust.
Claymore go boom.
An ancient force trapped in the artifact was released and turned Kyle into a lizard
We're a
demon.
lizard demon.
Expecting a battle, Kyle grabbed the laser claymore.
We're a ghost lizard demon with a laser claymore. Let's go back to the bedroom and open the closet. Now that we have the laser claymore.
Kyle knelt down and inspected the old rusty container
look
that
at
had
that.
been in his closet for ages.
Look at that.
Kyle took the laser claymore in his hand and slid it into the hole on top of the box. The box began to rumble slowly, but then it shook harder and harder.
We're shaking now.
Suddenly, with a snap, the box lid came loose. Kyle, giddy with excitement, grabbed the box to drag it into the light. With much sweating and pulling, Kyle slowly inched the box.
What
out
am
of
I
his
so
closet
excited
and
about?
began to giggle and drool. Soon, the box had been transported into the middle of the room.
Right next to Harry.
Kyle clapped his hands together and gripped the lid on either side. With a tug, it tumbled to the floor, revealing the contents of the box. There was nothing inside.
There's nothing inside.
Kyle was incredibly disappointed. This had been an opportunity for him, a way to find something new, a way to break up the routine.
There was nothing inside.
Suddenly, Kyle was struck with an unquenchable feeling of boredom about his life. Kyle
Me
jumped to
too,
his feet,
Kyle.
burst outside, hungry to find anything that could give his day a feeling of interest. Painfully, Kyle started grabbing anything he could reach, smashing it into his face to see what it could possibly do for him. Rocks, benches, people, squirrels, and the ground itself fell into Kyle's grasp.
I mean-
But soon, his energy began to wane.
And I have the energy of a lizard demon. Thank you very much.
Slowly, sadly, Kyle made his way back to his apartment,
People.
quietly grabbing small items off the ground and rubbing them against himself.
I'm just like, there, Kyle. Everything's gonna be okay.
Kyle slowly sank into his bed, as bored as when he had left earlier that day. He looked at the ceiling, feeling hollow. The day had been very hard.
Oh my goodness.
As he slowly fell asleep, Kyle wondered what he could possibly do tomorrow to inspire a new sense of interest in his life. He didn't know it then, but tomorrow, Kyle would try something
Ooh,
new.
okay. So we got the box ending. Unlocked, Kyle is hot dog. Kyle was bored. Haunt around.
Kyle felt a sudden pull on his heart.
Did the cats chat for you? Not really.
Had he abandoned his job as a ghost? Was he fulfilling his spooky, ethereal role that he'd accepted while lying in bed this morning? Kyle realized he had no other choice. He must spend his day spooking about. Kyle decided he should make a plan about who or where he should spook.
Well, we gotta spook ourselves first.
Kyle could think of nobody better to spook than himself.
Oh, did they really type on the keyboard? That's funny.
Kyle sat on the sidewalk and looked at the ground. He took a deep breath.
Oh, are you guys ready for this?
Kyle began to scream uncontrollably as he had managed to spook himself by his very existence. Kyle jumped up from the sidewalk and began to run around, flailing his arms.
It's ghostly arms.
Unfortunately, Kyle was unable to escape from the fact that he was himself. Kyle spent several minutes screaming. But as he screamed, Kyle realized it was becoming time for Rachel's interview. Continuing to scream, Kyle traveled to his studio. That evening, Kyle tried to do well by his duties and conduct the interview with Rachel.
Oh, I didn't become a human
But
again.
being able to only express pure terror, the episode consisted only of Rachel watching him scream. The episode was very popular. Kyle was asked to continue screaming in the next episode, and the next.
The whole show is just him screaming.
Kyle's show was rebranded to
Kyle is scared with Kyle.
The studio went on to produce many episodes.
11 of 10.
Kyle remained existentially terrified of
Oh
himself.
no. Kyle haunted himself. Okay. Let's wither away, and
Kyle
we will
realized-
haunt
Kyle decided
neighbor
he should make a
Gabby.
plan.
We did
Kyle
the
believed
claymore,
that
but we
Gabby
only
would
put
be
it in the
delighted to
locker.
have
We
him
didn't take it to
spook
the
about
interview,
a bit.
which I think we should.
Kyle started to slowly creep to Gabby's door in a very spooky way. He
Spooky.
crouched by Gabby's door, cooing quietly and waiting for her to leave so he could cause her a spook. It didn't take long. Soon, Gabby exited her apartment and started walking towards her car.
Towards her
Kyle
car.
crept behind her, invisible to all senses. Gabby opened the driver's side door
Yeah.
and got in. She seemed to be leaving for some errands. Kyle was struck with a wonderful idea.
I am concerned.
Kyle started to run to the back of Gabby's car. Perhaps if he could catch her before she left, he could
What?
hide in the trunk.
What is happening?
Kyle could make noises as she drove. He could follow her around on her errand, knocking over small objects nearby.
Good job, Kyle.
Gabby put the car in reverse and floored the accelerator. Invisible to all senses, Kyle was crushed
Oh,
underneath
no.
the back tires of the car, creating a large boom. Gabby figured she'd hit the curb. She put the car into forward and floored the accelerator again.
Gabby's a terrible driver.
Kyle became locked in an endless loop of Gabby trying to move her car out of her parking space,
no.
being run over repeatedly.
Gabby's like, the curb is so close. I can't get out of my parking space. Let me try it
The day
again.
started to wane and it drew closer to the time of Rachel's interview. Kyle ceased to be a ghost. Gabby neither noticed nor stopped.
Oh no.
Kyle was forced to conduct Rachel's interview while being run over. Kyle's crew moved the filming set next to Gabby's apartment. Rachel appeared. Kyle asked her many questions. They shared several laughs. The interview
How?
was successful.
He's just being
The
run
sound
over.
of Gabby flooring her car's accelerator drowned out large sections of the episode.
I'm sure it did. Kyle haunted Gabby. Okay, let's wither away and just
Kyle
haunt Rachel.
Kyle
The
decided.
interview.
Kyle thought that it would be best to continue his daily course, but with a twist.
Gabby haunted Kyle.
Today, he would still go to his studio, but instead of conducting an interview, he would haunt.
Solid choice.
Excitedly,
Haunt.
Kyle made his way to the studio early to find the best spot to conduct his ghostly duties.
Gotta find the best
The
spot.
studio was empty. Being so early, the crew wouldn't
We'll
arrive
haunt
for
Leviathan
several
next.
hours.
Ooh.
Kyle gleefully skipped around the building, finding the best spot for himself to hide. After searching for some time, Kyle decided to hide behind the guest chair.
You're afraid of corners? Alright, hide behind
Kyle
the guest
quickly
chair.
placed himself down and drew his legs to his chest. Soon, the crew began to arrive and set up for the interview that
Ari
night.
Kronos. Don't look at
Invisible
all
to
these
senses,
corners, Leviathan.
Kyle went undetected.
Don't look at the
he
corners.
watched as cameras were set up, screens were turned on, and pages were flipped. Within an hour, Rachel walked into the... "Hey, everyone," said Rachel, smiling kindly. "I'm ready to get prepped. Who do I need to talk to first?" Kyle's producer approached her. "Thanks for being here, Rachel. You should really talk to Andre about makeup first, and then wait for when Kyle arrives." Kyle, knowing he was duping everyone, began
just
to
giggling.
giggle uncontrollably. It was then that he, like clockwork, ceased to be a ghost. The studio grew silent. Everyone stared at Kyle, head down, clutching his legs and giggling at the floor. Kyle froze. He had found himself in a situation he had not encountered before.
Normally, he becomes human before going
Kyle
into the
started to
studio.
crawl out of the studio on all fours, hoping his small form would avoid attracting more attention.
Corner nightmares? Yeah, send it over.
Everyone
That'd be fun.
wordlessly watched as Kyle slowly made his way across the stage, through the production set, and out the door.
I'm just crawling.
As soon as he was outside the studio, Kyle broke into an all-out sprint. Kyle made his way back to his apartment as quickly as possible.
What am I doing?
Kyle sat in his kitchen and processed what had happened during his day. He vowed that he would never haunt
Oh.
anything again.
Okay, interesting. Kyle left. Let's become the lizard demon, and we'll go straight to the interview. There we go.
Kyle hurried to the set. Per normal,
Super
he
tired.
ceased
You're gonna
to
hit
be
the
a
hay.
ghost before
All
he
right.
arrived.
See you later, Helmet. You can always catch this one's gonna make it on YouTube, so you can always catch it later if you want to see the rest of Kyle is famous. So thank you so much for coming by too.
Sitting across from his host chair was a
I
glamorous
figured you'd
woman
enjoy
with
a
an
game
air
like
of...
this.
Rachel's smile turned to horror as she realized she was looking not at a human, but a lizard demon.
This is perfect.
Pandemonium ensued. Scripts went flying, crew members ran in all directions, lights were knocked over.
He's just flicking his fiery lizard demon split tongue in and
As
out.
Kyle watched the chaos around him, his lizard demon form enveloped his last shred of humanity.
Oh no.
Kyle grew to a massive size. Within minutes, he had demolished the now empty set.
I'm turning into
A
Godzilla.
local force of 5 spunky teenagers in brightly colored apparel arrived at the scene to fight Kyle.
Is this the Power
As the
Rangers?
teenagers swung at him with their spunky, individualized weapons, Kyle pushed them over with his foot. Kyle's rampage of the studio ruins continued, but in another part of the city, a hero was rising up.
Oh my goodness.
In a dusty apartment on the top floor of an old skyscraper in the oldest part of town sat a large man named Frank.
Oh my goodness.
Few people in the world knew that Frank existed. Fewer knew his name.
Well, we know about Frank now.
Frank was watching the local news. A story about the studio rampage was playing. Quickly, Frank got up from his chair. He opened a small door hidden behind a poster on his wall. Inside was an unbelievable mound of fat-ridden foods, unrefrigerated and fairly rotten.
Oh no.
Frank began to consume the
Oh.
mound at a frightening rate. His
Oh,
body
gross.
began to puff.
I think we found like probably 20 now out of 117
Frank
or something.
expanded faster and faster with each minute. He burst through the roof. Within minutes, Frank
might
was
be
a
a-
towering behemoth.
This might be a longer game than we thought.
He rolled across the city, rebounding
we're not
off
gonna
of
do all of
buildings
them.
and getting cheers from onlookers below. Approaching Kyle, Frank gave a long, painful heave upwards into the sky.
I don't know. We'll probably
To
just
Kyle,
we'll probably
the
just
sky
go
turned black.
till
He
10,
looked upwards
the
to see
normally
the
scheduled
monstrous
time.
figure hurtling towards him. And in a moment, Kyle was completely enveloped in rubbery fat,
Dude.
unable to move or make noise.
We could play
Frank
this
was
next
quite
week too.
tired
If you guys are
and
liking
passed
it, we
out
could play it
where
next
he
week.
lay. Several years went by as Frank slumbered. As Kyle was held in Frank's warm, fatty embrace, his humanity began to return.
Dude, what is even happening in
When
this
the
ending?
first winter came, Frank's body recycled his fat for resources. Over many months, he shrank in size. Eventually, Kyle was human and Frank was thinned. They both walked away from the scene as new men.
Excuse me?
Neither realized how much time had passed.
2 years had passed?
Kyle decided to stay.
Okay, so now we'll take the artifact with us. Float through, go inside, take the artifact.
This was
Grab it.
pushed her.
Oh,
Rachel looked up and smiled.
we're gonna find out.
As she approached to shake his hand, Kyle produced the supernatural artifact and winged it at Rachel's face. Within moments of the artifact colliding with her head, Rachel
no.
started to turn into a lizard demon.
I should have brought the laser
Rachel
claymore.
began to cause destruction, tipping over lights and causing crew members to scatter. Kyle, realizing the disaster he had caused, decided it was up to him to tame the monster. Kyle launched himself at the monstrous Rachel. In a great collision of flesh, Kyle rammed face first into the monster's
You see a
stomach.
problem?
Kyle continued to launch himself into Rachel's stomach with wild abandon.
I could
After
throw the
several
crew at
dozen
it? Yeah, I
collisions,
could.
small, insignificant bones in Kyle's body began to fracture.
Oh no.
Rachel began to lose stamina from the incessant damage Kyle was inflicting
I'm
upon her.
defeating the lizard demon.
Kyle continued his assault. Nobody present could tell what
no.
parts of his body were bruised and what weren't.
I don't think the armor does anything.
Eventually, in one well-placed lunge, the artifact embedded in Rachel's face popped out. Immediately, Rachel turned back into her normal human self.
I'm Kyle the hero
The studio,
now.
now in shambles, flicked to life. The broadcast had started automatically. Kyle, unable to move properly, became aware that the eyes of many were upon him. Kyle tried to address the audience, but instead spewed some mixture of breakfast phlegm and chunks of plaster.
Why do I have plaster in
Kyle's
me?
spewing video became a very hot meme. Online personalities used it to express distaste about social issues. Teenagers sent it to each other about homework amounts.
It's so real.
Rachel's broadcast was rescheduled for the following week. Fans complained about not being able to see Rachel's face as she wore protective headgear the entire time.
Because I yeeted an artifact. Rachel prepared by being a lizard. Let's try changing jobs. Let's see what the new stuff is all about.
Kyle thought very carefully about the first move of his day.
Become a hot dog salesman.
Kyle laid in bed for a moment, thinking about the day ahead. He would produce another episode of his long-running show. Yes. Kyle thought about making breakfast, the same breakfast he'd been making for the past 9 years.
It is a delicious breakfast, though.
Kyle thought about the clothes he would wear. They had not changed for a long time.
You mean I've been switching between a slick suit, skunk pasties that I hot glue to my body, jeans and goggles, and a suit of armor for a long time?
Kyle waited for something new and interesting to enter his head. Something fresh.
Just waiting,
something
just
exciting.
absorbing the energy of the universe.
Kyle continued to
I
wait.
feel like there's a secret
Nothing
that I
came
could
to
find.
mind. In a sudden moment of inspiration, Kyle threw his covers to the ground and stepped out of bed.
Don't forget
Kyle
the lizard
had
person
made a
clothes.
decision.
That's true.
Today
That's
would
true.
not be part of an old journey.
Actually, I
Today
was
would
wearing
be
the suit of
start
armor.
of something new.
I think a lizard's the same as clothes.
Kyle walked over to his desk and opened the middle drawer. He slowly removed an ancient, withered stick of meat.
Why was that never an option before when I looked
Today,
through my desk?
Kyle planned to make good on his childhood passion, the career he had abandoned to become a talk show host.
Oh boy.
Kyle looked caringly at the crusty hot dog in his hands. Then he smiled.
This is the first hot dog I ever made
Then
as a
he
child.
bent his lips downwards and slowly sucked the hot dog into his mouth and down into his stomach.
It sounds like he swallowed it whole. He just went in the whole hot dog.
Kyle had become a hot dog vendor. He must now prepare for his first day running a hot dog stand.
Okay. I must prepare. I must now prepare for running a hot dog stand. So choose an outfit.
Kyle decided to take some time to choose
Hot
the
dog
perfect
suit.
outfit, knowing Kyle put on his hot dog suit, which he had made by stitching hot dogs together when he was a child.
It's been in the closet for years since I've been a child.
Feeling
Gross.
fairly hungry, Kyle bent over and took a large bite out of his suit. He felt refreshed.
Oh, that counts as a good
Kyle continued
breakfast?
to eat his clothing. Soon, Kyle had eaten most of the suit. The chunks that were left were enough to act as clothes, but barely.
I'm thinking like the Leia costume, but hot dogs instead, on a fairly chunky
Kyle
man
felt
named
satisfied.
Kyle.
The hot dogs had nourished him greatly, functionally giving him more time in his day.
True. Oh, we ate the hot dog suit, so we're full, and we have 30 hours left. So, was there anything else in the closet? No, there wasn't. I wasted 2 hours checking my closet. Let's sit at the desk, search for hot dogs.
Kyle searched through his desk to find more hot dogs that he could sell.
Time until
Kyle
hot
had
dogs,
moved his
24
hot dog
hours.
stash
Yeah.
somewhere else. He shut the desk drawers.
Let's check in the desk drawer. Let's grab the small key.
Kyle
Let's grab the change. Back to the room. Scavenge
Kyle.
for hot dogs.
Kyle started looking around for hot dogs. He crawled around, spreading layers of mold to the side with his hands and picking out interesting items. Kyle couldn't find any hot dogs, but instead he found a pile of love letters he
We
had written
probably
in high
can
school.
put lard on the hot dogs.
Kyle pocketed
Oh,
the
love
envelopes
letters.
and got back to his feet.
Love letters that I had written and apparently never given to anyone. Okay. Check the locked door.
Kyle walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
Yep.
With a
Yep.
hum and a pop, Kyle used his massive knowledge of hot dog magic to change the door handle into a hot dog. Kyle sucked the hot dog into his mouth, opened the door, and walked through.
It still sounds. Okay. Okay.
Kyle started looking around for anything he could use to make a hot dog stand. Kyle rooted around the scattered boxes and
I love
loose
this
items.
arc.
He
This is
picked
my
up
favorite arc.
buckets, pieces of wood, rusty nails, and bits of string. Soon, he had enough loose items to be reasonably sure of being able to craft a stand that wouldn't fall over.
We haven't found our hot dogs yet, though. So, think about hot dogs.
Being in the kitchen gave Kyle a massive amount of hot dog-related nostalgia. He
Yeah.
stood still, pondering.
Yeah.
Kyle continued to think about hot dogs. Kyle still continued to think about hot dogs. He thought about their flavor. He thought about how different brands tasted different. Kyle thought about hot dog texture and their feeling in his hand. Kyle was still thinking about hot dogs.
I know. How long will this go?
Kyle's skin began to dissolve its bonds and melt from standing still too long.
What?
He began to spread across the floor, creating small puddles through the kitchen.
Hot dog team.
Kyle's jaw caved, causing the top of his head to slowly drop backwards and point towards the ceiling. Kyle sunk lower and lower. His height was soon half of what it was before. Chunks of skin fell to the ground. Kyle's fingers and legs fell off, dissolving into drops of ooze as they dropped.
Gross.
Kyle was a large puddle of melted skin with bumps where his main features
That's
used to be.
so gross.
Kyle's atoms
I don't
had
know
lost
why
all
it's
of
still
their
here.
bonds. He had turned into nothing more than a meat-based soup. Kyle made his way to
Magic.
the street corner. After a long day of preparation, Kyle felt very ready for his first outing as a hot dog salesman.
I am literally
Kyle
not.
started to unpack his things onto the corner of the street.
The only thing I have is the love letters.
As Kyle was unpacking, his hand brushed the old love letters he had picked up earlier.
Now we can
He
make him
stopped.
use a wrench. I know. I don't
Something
have like.
tugged at Kyle's heart. These letters were a piece of himself. These letters were a piece of history.
Oh, we did a lot.
Kyle
today.
realized it was time to give these letters to their original intended recipients. Kyle looked at the top letter of the stack. It was addressed to Abigail, a girl Kyle had liked during high school. Abigail had moved to the other side of the city with her husband a few years ago, but Kyle was willing to make the trip.
There's some part where Kyle uses a wrench. Yeah, probably.
Kyle skipped away to Abigail's house, letter in hand.
I've skipped to the far side of town.
It wasn't that Kyle liked Abigail anymore. It wasn't that he missed her. After an hour of walking, Kyle finally reached Abigail's front door. With excitement in his heart, Kyle took a breath and knocked on the door.
Probably to beat Abigail's
Abigail
husband.
opened it. Kyle, she said, smiling.
Kyle.
What are you doing here? It's been so long.
My name's Abigail.
Abby, said Kyle. I have something I want to read to you.
Oh no.
Kyle took the letter to Abigail, clutched in his hands, and opened it for the first
It's been
time in
14 years.
Dear Abby, he read, I feel funny when I look at you.
This is so cringy.
Sometimes I think about you when I lie awake at night, but also sometimes not, but that's less often. I also talk about you constantly to everyone when you're not around, but it's not always
What?
good things. Sometimes I also steal your lunches when you're not looking and keep them in a drawer at my
Oh,
house to
no.
look at when I'm bored.
That explains all the mold and
I want you
filth
to
in his
promise
room.
me something. Kyle looked at Abby meaningfully. Promise you like me. And if you do like me, please show me by shoving live fish down your throat as a sign of dedication. Abigail shut the door.
She was like
Kyle looked up
taking
from
it
the letter
seriously.
and stopped reading. He looked at the door in front of him. He realized that Abigail probably had something to do, so he decided to leave her the letters to read
He
later.
left the letters.
Kyle pressed the letters against the door and pushed firmly. He took a nearby rock and drove it through the papers into the door so Abigail
Just
could not
stab
miss them.
the papers with a rock.
With evening dawning, Kyle went home, satisfied that he had finished an old chapter of his life.
I know she
When
waited
Kyle got
until he
home,
was
he
like,
realized that
"Rub
he
live
loved
fish
writing
down your
letters to
throat."
Abigail. He decided that he would continue to do
Oh,
so
no.
every day and make her his pen pal.
Kyle, take a hint.
Kyle fell asleep with a smile.
Oh,
It had
Kyle,
been a
no.
good day.
Kyle, no. I got a pen pal.
Kyle opened the.
Search for hot
Kyle
dogs.
searched through the fridge, trying to find hot dogs.
That should have been
The
Kyle
search
gets a
turned up
restraining
nothing.
order.
Kyle was not
Yeah.
surprised, as he never stored meat in his refrigerator.
Guys, you're not supposed to store meat in the refrigerator. Things that grocery stores don't want you to know. Meat only expires when you put it in the fridge. If you leave it out on the counter and unwrap it, it's natural So the meat never expires because meat doesn't expire. Check the pantry.
Kyle, instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard.
But
Kyle searched around the pantry for a selection of hot dogs. After a few minutes of searching, Kyle found several stashes of old hot dogs loose and in paper bags.
okay,
He gathered them together
got the hot
and
dogs.
saw that he had a serviceable amount of hot dogs.
which means we just need to go back to the bedroom and hopefully we can eat our suit in time.
Kyle put on
Chew on suit at 0 hour.
Kyle
Oh
made his way to the
no!
After a long day of preparation, Kyle felt very...
If I didn't forget to get the
unpack his
key.
things onto the corner of the street.
Barely.
As he unpacked, Kyle realized he had never gotten a food cart to make his hot dogs in.
Yeah.
Kyle had no choice but to place his hot dogs on the ground.
His nasty hot dogs that
Looking
have
at the
been in the
hot dogs
cupboard
strewn
for how
across
long?
the sidewalk, Kyle realized he had found a golden opportunity. Kyle began to roll his hot dogs around in the dirt, pressing firmly so it would be embedded into the food.
Good old natural dirt
After
hot
a while,
dogs.
his back became sore from bending over. Kyle continued with the bottom of his shoe. Soon, all of the hot dogs
Favorite
had been
flavor
sufficiently
of
seasoned.
hot dog ground. They've been
Kyle swept his
seasoned.
hot dogs into a pile and sat on the concrete next to them. It was a warm day, and lots of people were walking by. It wouldn't be long before someone came over to buy a hot dog.
That's
And in
positive
a couple
thinking.
minutes, as
Positive
expected,
mental
a figure
attitude.
stepped over and stood in front of Kyle. Kyle, said Gabby. What are you doing?
Gabby coming through.
Gabby, today I'm fulfilling my hot dog dream, said Kyle. This is my hot dog stand.
He pointed at a pile of nasty
Gabby
hot
searched
dogs
for a
on the
way to tell
ground.
Kyle gently that he was not about to sell any hot dogs. And then, in a moment of pure compassion and grace,
Aw.
Gabby decided to be Kyle's first customer.
Gabby fighting crime at night and doing good deeds
Kyle,
in the
I
day.
want to help inspire you, said Gabby. How much is a single hot dog?
No more than your average Leviathan product.
Kyle wordlessly grabbed a hot dog from his pile, jumped to his feet, and shoved it into Gabby's
He just
mouth
took a hot
hole.
dog and just went.
Gabby realized that the hot dogs were delicious.
They're delicious.
Driven by pure empathy, Gabby began to grab passersby on the street and force-feed them Kyle's hot dogs.
This is so much weirder than I
One
could
by
have
one, the
expected.
citizens of Kyle's city became embarrassingly obsessed with his hot dogs.
Just force feeding people nasty
As
hot
Kyle's
dogs.
pile of hot dogs ran out, the demand for his wares increased. Kyle's hot dogs became a valuable form of currency. They were bought and sold on the international stock market.
Yeah.
Men and women
Yeah.
were made rich from investing in Kyle's hot dogs.
This is the new Bitcoin.
Kyle's hot dogs were all quickly snatched by investors. Having nothing left, Kyle decided to go home. As he entered his apartment, Kyle stopped.
You've heard of e-currency. You've never heard of HD currency.
Today,
Hot dog
he
currency.
had turned over a new leaf. Today, he had followed his dream. Kyle had helped the economy, yes, but he had also grown as a person. Kyle was content.
Contentment. I was content. Change jobs,
Kyle-
become a hot dog salesman. Check the pantry.
Kyle wa-
Unlock it.
The
Look in the pantry.
Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle searched around the pantry for a selection of hot dogs. After a few minutes of searching, he gathered
Good.
them together.
Got the hot dogs. Search for a hot dog stand.
Kyle, suit.
Outfit. Hot dog suit.
Kyle put on his
Chew on the suit. More.
It wasn't enough. Soon, Kyle felt satisfied.
Yes.
The hot dogs had nourished him greatly, functionally giving him more time.
We have
in
the
his
stand
day.
and the hot dogs. And oh, we only got 14 hours back. Interesting. So we didn't have to min-max that. Visit a marketing agency. It had an attendant and, well, there's trash. We should just rummage in the trash.
Kyle began rummaging around in the trash can, looking for anything interesting.
Always start by rummaging
After
in the
picking
trash.
through wrappers and cups, Kyle noticed there was a red button stuck to the bottom of the can.
We're going to unlock the Lieutenant Surge gym battle right here.
Kyle eagerly pressed the button. The wall above the trash can started shifting and spinning, eventually revealing a slab of pewter with an indent. The slab was thick and old. A plaque was embedded in the top, reading, "The slab embraces only a true weapon."
An indent.
Kyle let out a blood-curdling scream and fell onto the attendant's desk.
He rummages
first.
through the trash, pushes the secret button, thing comes down from the ceiling, and then he just walks up to the attendant like, "Hello." Ah! That's it. That's what just happened.
The attendant did not buy Kyle's death. She continued
100 frame
working.
animation. Dang. Yeah, the
Trying to
artifact of the
sell
claymore,
effect,
or a
Kyle
bottle
lay
of
on the
lard.
attendant's desk for several hours, motionless. Eventually, Kyle sheepishly stood up and walked out of the agency. Kyle made his way to the... After a long day, Kyle took out his cart pieces and began to... With a little trouble, Kyle was able to finish constructing a serviceable hot dog stand.
Let's continue.
Kyle then started to place the hot dogs he had brought into the cart. They were cold, but Kyle had never cooked his hot dogs as a child and didn't want to start now.
Nice cold hot dogs.
His prep finished, Kyle looked around and smiled, waiting for his first customer. It was then that Kyle realized he had not bothered to acquire any advertisement for his cart. If the hot dog stand would be a success, Kyle realized he would need to advertise all on his own. Kyle thought about his advertising options.
Luck, screaming, or personal engagement? Luck.
Kyle figured that he would just get lucky and everything would work out okay. As people passed by, Kyle looked at them
He's just
intently
like,
and grinned.
Hello.
Few noticed him. Those that noticed didn't stop.
I got hot dogs, buddy.
Soon, Kyle realized that in order to sell hot dogs, he needed to become more lucky.
He needed to become more
Kyle
lucky.
picked up his things and walked over to the local leprechaun pit. Leprechauns began crawling out of the depths and circled around Kyle.
What?
A single elder leprechaun stepped forward, twirling his beard with one finger.
"What seeketh this man from the council of the leprechauns and disturb us from our slumber?"
asked. Kyle spoke confidently. "I want to sell hot dogs." The leprechaun smiled and began stroking his chin.
Oh, yes, I understand.
The leprechaun
Luck
turned
might have
around.
been the best option. You gotta stop
We can
thinking.
give you what you search for,
Said the leprechaun.
but be aware it will not come easily.
It will.
Kyle paused, thinking about the offer.
Oh, well, we're too deep in it now.
The
We gotta.
leprechauns jumped onto Kyle's face and started force-feeding themselves to him.
That's easy. I've eaten a refrigerator.
Kyle's eyes bugged out, and he started swirling around and waving his hands, but the leprechauns did not stop. Soon, Kyle had been force-fed every leprechaun in the pit. Kyle realized the leprechauns must have imbued him with their luck.
They were just waiting for a noble cause.
Kyle rushed back to his stand, excited to
Ah,
try
the
his
taste
new
of
luck
Irish.
on hot dog sale. Kyle stood behind his hot dog cart and smiled. In fact, though, the leprechauns had been wrong. They had not imbued Kyle
no.
with their luck. Kyle had swallowed them needlessly.
Oh, no.
Kyle did not sell any hot dogs at his stand. Over the next couple weeks, Kyle hacked up leprechauns into the toilet every morning.
Gross. Kyle ate the leprechauns. And we
Instead of-
grabbed the hot dogs. Hot dog stand.
To take some
Hot
time
dog
to
suit.
choose the perfect... Kyle put on his hot dog suit.
Chew on the suit. And go to the marketing agency. Approach the attendant.
Kyle walked over to the attendant and gave her a big smile. Kyle took a big breath. "So how does the whole marketing thing work?"
Well,
said the attendant.
we offer several packages for old and new media starting around $100 customized for your needs.
Kyle bit his lip. "Right, so what can I get for free?" The attendant stared blankly.
Not really anything.
Kyle didn't answer and stood staring for a moment, then walked away.
What if we talk about life instead?
Kyle walked over to the... "Hey, you," said Kyle. "What's going on? How's life?"
Hey, you. What's going on? How's life?
Before the attendant could answer, Kyle continued. "Do you enjoy your life? Are you happy? How are your home relationships? How much debt are you in?" Kyle started pounding his fists emphatically on the table. The attendant brightened.
I have been waiting for someone
to ask. Kyle and the attendant spoke several hours in an upbeat conversation about life. Both enjoyed it. Kyle, after a long...
Okay.
Kyle,
Take out the cart.
with a little...
Continue.
His prep... It was then that Kyle...
I think I should have
If the
talked
hot
about
dog
life
stand-
first.
Kyle thought about his advertising. Kyle could not think of a better marketing strategy than good old-fashioned personal connection. Kyle waited for a pedestrian to walk by. Soon, a young couple walked towards him, holding hands, and Kyle grabbed the young man's hand from the woman, drew him close, and looked into his eyes pleadingly.
Really in there.
Hey, you, Kyle whispered. There's something I need you to do for me.
Right in his face.
Kyle drew the man's hand from in front of his face and down to rest on the pile of hot dogs on his cart. He patted the top of the man's hand. There was a long, long silence. Nobody moved. Then Kyle got bored and started repeatedly smashing his own face into the hot dog pile. My hot dogs, please! Kyle started to scream uncontrollably. The couple stood, frozen, watching Kyle bludgeon his face against the cart. Then, suddenly, Kyle used his deep knowledge of hot dog magic to start shooting hot dogs from his fingertips. Kyle shot the hot dogs across every part of the street. They came out of his fingers in massive amounts. Kyle couldn't resist. He tipped his fingers into his mouth and began to consume all of the hot dogs himself.
What is even happening?
Kyle didn't stop eating the hot dogs flying from his fingers. He continued to eat all evening and into the next day. Kyle didn't want to stop eating, but he knew he had responsibilities to take care of.
Oh, man.
Kyle started to walk to his studio, keeping his hands lodged in his mouth the whole way. Kyle conducted the night's interview while consuming hot dogs, and the next night's, and the next.
I'm gonna give Frank a run for his
Kyle
money.
never stopped eating hot dogs. It became part of his personality as much as anything else. Kyle began to not enjoy eating hot dogs at all times, but since it was now expected of him, he continued.
Don't you hate that? You start doing something you love and then you stop loving what
Eating
you're doing.
hot dogs became nothing more than part of his job, just like getting dressed in the morning and tax forms. Kyle had expanded his professional skill set.
This is still going. Absolutely. Dude, we have not even scratched the surface of this. We're gonna have to do this next week too.
With a little trouble,
Let's try eating.
Kyle started to tear chunks out of the stand he had
Oh,
just
we're trying to eat
constructed
the
and
stand.
shoved them into his mouth. Within moments, the stand had Kyle did not stop. He took no enjoyment from eating his hot dog stand, but knew he must continue. A small crowd formed around Kyle. Kyle stopped eating. He slowly craned his neck to look at the people circled around him.
Chill the hot
Kyle
dogs.
knew he needed to impress the people gathered around him in order to sell hot dogs.
Woman, you may not like
Kyle
it.
forced a smile on his
This is
face and
peak
looked
male
at his
form.
nearest to-be customer. Kyle's eyes were blank and without mirth. Kyle had chosen to grin at Tyler Rough and Gruff McPherson, which was a mistake. Tyler screamed to the heavens in an unbridled rage, raised
entered a
both fists
barbarian
into
rage.
the air, and slammed Kyle's face into the concrete. Tyler began curb stomping Kyle with alternating feet, screaming endlessly.
No.
Kyle was confused. Something was familiar about this situation, like a whisper of a dream coming back after being hidden for many years. Still screaming, Tyler scooped Kyle into his mouth and swallowed him whole.
That's a twist.
And that's when Kyle remembered. Kyle was brought back to his time as a child.
Oh?
He spent his childhood in the yard finding sticks. He didn't eat. He had no family. Or did he have a family? Was there a kind mother behind him? A father coming home soon? A brother? A sister? No, there was not. But there was Tyler. Tyler had started as a bump on Kyle's hand. Kyle had thought it was a bug bite or small irritation.
Top 10 saddest life stories ever, yeah.
Over time, the bump grew in size. Soon, it sprouted
This
teeth.
sounds like a Binding of Isaac backstory.
Kyle nurtured the bump by feeding it sticks. It continued to grow and become ever more hungry. But one day, Kyle noticed that the bump had changed. The hungry bump had turned into a large, hairy, loud man who was also hungry. The man burst from Kyle's arm and ran off into the distance, never to be seen again. Not until today. Kyle, now in Tyler's stomach, realized that he would have a hard time selling hot dogs if he could not move on his own.
That's true.
Kyle stretched out, inserting his arms and feet into the inside of Tyler's limbs.
Am I becoming
Kyle
Tyler?
began to move Tyler around, grasping at hot dogs on the table and throwing them toward Kyle's customers. Tyler was annoyed and started swinging his arms wildly and running in circles. Kyle and Tyler fought for control over Tyler's motor functions. Hot dogs were sent
This is
flying,
like a weird
trash
Ratatouille.
cans sprayed along the sidewalk. After many, many hours of fighting, Kyle and Tyler calmed down. They sat down on the sidewalk. Kyle explained his feelings to Tyler. Kyle used Tyler's mouth to respond. As the two talked, they realized their mutual love of business,
Well, you know,
sociology,
Tyler did start as a weird
politics.
bump. On
Kyle
Kyle.
and Tyler decided to go into business together. The next day was the start of a hot dog empire.
Amazing.
Kyle and Tyler,
He is
working as a
inevitable.
single unit,
He cannot
became the
be stopped.
foremost hot dog salespeople in the nation. Their success knew no bounds. Within months, Kyle had blasted past the popularity of his old talk show.
Oh no.
Kyle and Tyler remained good friends and were never seen apart from each other.
Oh.
Mostly because Kyle never managed to crawl his way back to the real world.
That's weird. Let's try to find the weapon for that pewter thing. We'll get the laser claymore and we'll get the supernatural
This was one of the many
artifact.
mysterious artifacts.
Oh, we can't even smash it.
Artifact.
So we can't become a lizard. And we will push the button.
After Kyle, the wall above the trash can started shifting and spinning. The slab was
Oh, it was
thick
the
and
claymore,
old.
you're right.
A plaque
Yeah.
was embedded in the top, reading, "The slab embraces only a true weapon."
Yep. You're right,
Kyle
Cronus.
inserted the laser claymore into the indent.
Dude, this is more of a key than a laser claymore.
The claymore fit perfectly, snapping into place. Small metal hooks came out of all sides of the slab to hold it in place. With a pop, fizz, and a magical elf chuckle, a human-sized rainbow gateway to another dimension appeared. The
Okay.
portal started sucking everything near it inwards, devouring chairs, trash cans, and Kyle himself. Kyle became part of a dizzying swirl. Lights and colors flashed all around him. He spun in circles rapidly. And in a moment, Kyle fell into the Gummy Bear and Claymore land, where all matter is either gummy bears or claymores.
Oh.
Kyle was approached by a group of roaming gummy wasteland elves. Because of the harsh environment they lived in, the elves used their kin as blunt weapons to fend off its hackers.
They use their kin as blunt weapons.
Kyle looked
Elves
upon
swinging
the elves
elves
and realized
around.
They must live in a depressed and war-torn culture. And then, in a moment of pure empathy,
I should have brought the hot
Kyle
dogs.
decided to help the elves. Kyle grabbed the two nearest elves, one in each hand, and started to give them a talking to about war and its troubles.
Never mind, I don't need the hot dogs.
"Hello, you two," said Kyle. "I wish to give you a bit of advice." But before Kyle could say anything more, the ground started shifting and morphed into a gummy bear monster.
Oh no.
Kyle chucked the elves he was holding at the monster to fend it off, but it was to no avail. The monster charged at Kyle, throwing elves to the sides as it sped forward. Kyle had no choice but to become a gummy bear monster himself.
But can I sell hot dogs as a gummy bear monster?
He started to cover himself in gummy bears and claymores. They stuck to his skin like meaningful, gooey hugs.
Those are my favorite kinds of hugs.
After moments of a vicious, sticky flurry, Kyle was covered in the new world's material. Then, something wonderful happened. Using a combination of determination, elf magic, and method acting, Kyle truly transformed into a real gummy monster.
Uh-huh.
But in his new form, Kyle was now not interested in fighting the other gummy monster. Kyle began swallowing
Oh, no.
every elf in sight in a
When you
wild,
take method acting
crazy
too far.
rampage. Over the next several hours, Kyle rampaged around the whole gummy world, eating every last elf whole. Kyle had gifted the elves with a warm, nutritious new world to live in.
Himself?
Over time, the elves created a new society inside Kyle's stomach. There was no need for war.
He did them a
They
service.
feasted on Kyle's stomach juices. Their culture entered a golden age.
Oh, it somehow gets
Eventually,
grosser.
Kyle turned back into a normal person and returned home. But the elves continued to live inside him.
Ah,
Kyle had saved a culture.
well. Kyle is Santa. Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.